A pleasant day to everyone.
Bakit?
Today our group
Hmm.
Uni-Team is going to tackle about the study of correlation and regression analysis of coffee consumption patterns and health outcomes. The members of the group are Aligoyo Hojan Alvin R., Gutierrez Rani Micaela V., Noel Jared L., Gonzalan Ralph
Oo,
Kenneth G., and lastly,
tanggalin ko lahat.
Sulking Kale Riley A.
Dali lang yan eh.
Today we will be starting with the correlation analysis. Now, what is correlation analysis? Correlation analysis was used to explore the relationship between daily coffee consumption and sleep quality. By calculating the correlation coefficient, we can understand how the two variables are connected. And for the correlation analysis formula, we will be using the formula flashed on the screen, where R is the correlation coefficient, the strength and direction of the relationship, and the number of data points or respondents. X is the independent variables, the coffee cups, Y the dependent variable, sleep, exam scores, stress, etc. Sigma xy, the sum of x multiplied by y for each respondent, sigma x, sum of all coffee consumption values, sigma y, sum of all dependent variable values, sigma x squared, sum of each x squared, sigma y squared, sum of each y squared. The interpretation of R: if R is greater than 0, it has a positive correlation as x increases and y increases. If R is less than 0, it has a negative correlation: x increases, y decreases. If R is approximately equal to 0, there is no significant correlation. A positive R value indicates that higher coffee consumption is associated with the increase in the dependent variable, example given, improved focus. Conversely, a negative R value suggests that increased coffee intake is linked to a decrease in the dependent variable, example given, lower sleep quality. An R value close to zero indicates a negligible or no relationship between coffee consumption and the dependent variable. So here is the results of the correlation analysis using the scatter plot and Excel. And next, I will be showing the step-by-step procedure using Excel for the correlation analysis. So, in summary, the analysis identified a weak negative association between coffee consumption and sleep quality, suggesting that higher coffee intake may slightly worsen sleep outcomes. The second one, no statistically significant associations were observed between coffee consumption and exam scores, focus, or productivity, indicating that coffee intake has minimal impact in these areas. The third, coffee consumption showed a weak positive correlation with stress levels, but the relationship is not strong enough to suggest a significant effect. The fourth one, no significant effect was found between coffee intake and energy levels, further indicating limited impact in this domain.
We use regression to help us predict how coffee consumption affects different aspects of life, such as sleep quality, sleep hours, stress, and more. We use the formula y is equals to a plus bx, where y is the dependent variable, x is the independent variable, a is the baseline value when x is equals to 0, and b is the effect of each extra coffee cup. We gathered 40 respondents who consumes coffee and reported the effects of coffee to them. We used Google Forms for our survey, and the data was recorded and analyzed. For calculating the slope, we use this formula, where sigma of xy is equals to the sum of coffee cups times the dependent variable. Sigma of x is equals to the sum of coffee cups. Sigma of y is equals to the sum of dependent variable. Sigma of x squared is equals to the sum of squared coffee cups. And n is equals to the number of respondents. For calculating the intercept, we use this formula where it uses the calculated slope and it determines the baseline value when no coffee is consumed. Here are the results of the regression, where the table says that the coffee has improved their sleep quality with a p-value of 0.025. But it has no significant effect on their sleep hours. It also have no evidence that coffee improves academic performance, and it has no impact on stress or productivity levels. First off, we go to Excel. Here are the data that we gathered. We go to data analysis, click to regression, and press OK. And here we're going to input our X value, which is the coffee cups over here, and Y value over here, which we have 7 of them. Here are the results of our data after we gathered that. It says here that the Pearson R has a 0.004257208 value, which is under the 0.30 that is needed, so it is a negligible positive. And here we have the p-value of 0.979, which is greater than 0.05. That means that it is not significant.
The significance of the study. The significance of our research lies in identifying the factors that impact individuals, specifically the sleep quality. The correlation analysis suggests a weak negative relationship between daily coffee consumption and sleep quality. However, the R value indicates that the effect is minimal, implying that other factors may have greater influence on sleep patterns. The second is the other factors. Variables such as the sleep hours, stress levels, focus levels, productivity, and energy levels were not found to have statistically significant effects at the 5% significance level. This suggests that the impact may be negligible or influenced by external variables not accounted for in the study.
For the null hypothesis, our study has found that consumption of coffee has no significant effect on sleep quality, sleep hours, exam scores, stress levels, focus, productivity, or energy levels statistically. Any relationship observed between coffee consumption and these listed variables are only due to variation or by chance. For the alternative hypothesis, our study has found that coffee consumption has a significant effect on at least one of the dependent variables: sleep quality, sleep hours, exam scores, stress levels, focus, productivity, or energy levels. In short, it is hypothesized that consumption of coffee improves the quality of sleep.
Data analysis results. The correlation and regression analysis of coffee consumption and its effects on different aspects of daily life provided insightful results. The correlation analysis showed weak relationships between coffee intake and factors such as sleep quality, stress levels, focus, productivity, and energy levels. Notably, the strongest correlation was a weak positive relationship between coffee consumption and stress levels, indicating that individuals who consume more coffee may experience slightly higher stress. However, the negative correlation between sleep quality and productivity suggests that higher coffee intake might slightly reduce these factors, though the effects are minimal. The regression analysis further supported these findings by showing that coffee consumption does not significantly impact sleep hours, exam scores, stress levels, focus, productivity, or energy levels. While a slight positive relationship was found between coffee intake and sleep quality, the effect was not particularly strong. This suggests that external factors such as lifestyle and personal habits may play a larger role in these outcomes than coffee consumption alone. Overall, while coffee remains a popular beverage for boosting alertness, its actual impact on various life aspects appears to be limited based on the analysis. Conclusion. The study found that drinking coffee does not have a strong effect on sleep, exam scores, stress levels, focus, productivity, or energy levels. The correlation results showed weak relationships, meaning that drinking more coffee does not cause big changes in these factors. A small negative link was found between coffee intake and sleep quality of R is equals to negative 0.1247, suggesting that people who drink more coffee might have slightly lower sleep quality, but the effect is very small. There was also a weak positive link with stress levels of R equals 0.2053, meaning that those who drink more coffee may feel slightly more stressed. However, these relationships were too weak to prove that coffee is the main reason for these changes. Other weak connections included coffee intake and exam scores of R equals negative 0.0983 and productivity of R equals negative 0.1738 and energy levels of R equals negative 0.1217, showing that coffee does not have a big effect on these aspects of daily life. The regression results also showed that the coffee drinking does not strongly affect most of the studied factors. For example, coffee had a small negative effect on sleep quality of negative 0.218, but the R squared value was only 0.016, and the p-value was 0.443, meaning the result was not important. Similarly, the results for exam scores of effect equals 0.934 and R squared equals 0.010 and p value equals 0.546 and stress levels of effect equals 0.360 and R squared equals 0.042 and p-value of equals 0.204 show that coffee does not make a real difference in these areas. Since all the p-values were higher than 0.05, the study does not have enough proof to reject the null hypothesis, which says that coffee drinking does not have a strong effect on sleep, exam scores, stress, focus, productivity, or energy. These results suggest that other things such as getting enough sleep, handling stress, and personal habits are more important for these factors than drinking coffee.
So our group came up with the idea for this study because we wanted to investigate the impact of coffee consumption on people's performance throughout the day. These observations could spark curiosity about whether there is a scientific basis for these claims and how coffee consumption might influence health outcomes. One of the significant challenges that our group faced was the lack of respondents. This made it difficult to achieve a robust sample size for meaningful statistical analysis. This limitation affected our ability to generalize the findings and detect subtle correlations between coffee consumption patterns and health outcomes.
So, how did you plan your task? The task was planned to be designed as a correlation and regression analysis to examine the relationship between coffee consumption and various factors. The data was collected with a minimum of 40 respondents using Google Forms, ensuring a diverse sample. The research focus was interpreting statistical results, identifying significant and non-significant effects, and presenting key insights concisely. Did you get any help or support other than yourself or groupmates? The answer is no. The research was done entirely by the group from the data collection and analysis without any external help. I am Algorithm Alvin R. My contribution in the final output are significance of the study and some of the questions about the studies.
I am Gutierrez Rani Micaela V, and my contribution is the correlation part and the video editing.
My name is Jared L. Noel. My contributions are the conclusion and data analysis results.
I am Punzalan Ralph Kenneth G, and my contributions to the study are the null hypothesis, the alternative hypothesis, and some of the questions about the study.
I'm Sakin K. Riley A., and my contribution to this study is the regression analysis and also some complete solution with steps of the regression analysis.
Through this research, Uni-Team explored how coffee consumption affects sleep, academics, stress, and productivity. The findings suggest that while coffee intake has a significant positive effect on sleep quality, its impact on other variables remains minimal. This study highlights the complexity of individual responses to caffeine and the need for further research on external influences. That's all. Thank you.